World War II skies forge a legend. Richard Bong, America's ace of aces in the deadly skies of World War II. Amid the chaos of dogfights and the roar of engines, one name became legendary. He was the son of a Swedish immigrant farmer from the quiet fields of Wisconsin, a man often described as humble and shy, who would somehow become America's deadliest pilot. His name was Richard Bong. With 40 confirmed aerial victories, he became America's ace of aces, a national hero who seemed invincible in his iconic Lockheed P-38 Lightning. He flew more than 200 combat missions, logged over 500 hours in combat, and returned home to marry the woman whose photograph he carried into every battle. The world lay before him. Yet the most dangerous machine he would ever face was not an enemy fighter. It was a revolutionary new American aircraft designed to usher in a new age of aviation. A seemingly routine flight on a sunny California day would tragically end the life of a legend, on the very same day as an event that would forever change the world. How did a man who survived the fiercest air battles of the Pacific War, who faced enemy fighters with near-supernatural skill, meet his end not in combat, but in a machine built for peace? This is the story of a hero's meteoric rise and tragic fall. A story of love, war, and the razor-thin line between triumph and tragedy. From farm boy to aspiring pilot before he was the ace of aces, Richard Ira Bong was a farm boy. He was born on September 24, 1920, in Superior, Wisconsin, and raised in the small rural community of Poplar. He was the oldest of 9 children. His father, Carl, was a Swedish immigrant, and his mother, Dora, was of Scottish and English descent. Life on the Bong family farm was built on hard work and simple values. It was there that young Richard learned to handle machinery and developed the quiet, unassuming personality that stayed with him for life. He was a good student, a capable athlete, and by all accounts a typical American kid, except for one ambition that reached for the sky. That spark was ignited in 1928 when President Calvin Coolidge established a summer White House near Superior. Aircraft delivering presidential mail flew directly over the Bong family farm. Richard watched them in awe. He later recalled, "They flew right over our heads, and I knew I wanted to be a pilot." After high school, he enrolled at Superior State Teachers College, but flying was his true passion. In 1940, he joined the government's civilian pilot training program. By age 20, he was flying solo. The farm boy from Poplar had earned his wings, but his journey was only beginning. A natural talent revealed in May 1941. With war raging in Europe and tensions rising in the Pacific, Richard Bong enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces. His instructors quickly recognized what others already knew. Bong was a natural. One Czech flight instructor called him one of the finest natural pilots I have ever met. After earning his commission as a second lieutenant in January 1942, Bong briefly served as a gunnery instructor. One of his instructors was a young Barry Goldwater, who later became a U.S. senator and presidential candidate. Goldwater described Bong as an exceptionally bright and talented student. But Bong was not meant to stay behind the lines. In May 1942, he was sent to Hamilton Field, California, to train in the aircraft that would define his career, the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. The P-38 Lightning, and a reputation for daring, the P-38 was a radical design with twin engines and twin tails. Faster and longer-ranged than any American fighter at the time, it was so effective that German pilots nicknamed it the fork-tailed devil. Bong loved the aircraft, writing home that it was the easiest plane he had ever flown. His time at Hamilton Field also revealed his mischievous side. He became infamous for flying a loop around the Golden Gate Bridge and buzzing low over San Francisco's Market Street. The stunt earned him a stern reprimand from General George C. Kenney, commander of the 4th Air Force. But Kenney recognized Bong's raw skill. When Kenney later took command of the 5th Air Force in the Pacific, he requested Bong by name. In September 1942, Lieutenant Richard Bong was sent to war. First victories in New Guinea assigned to fighter units in New Guinea, Bong entered a brutal world of air combat. On December 27, 1942, he shot down 2 Japanese aircraft, earning the Silver Star. Within 2 weeks, he had 5 confirmed kills. Officially becoming a fighter ace, Bong's success came from his dangerous but effective tactic. He closed in as close as physically possible before firing. He often flew through debris from exploding enemy aircraft and once even collided with a plane he had just shot down. Throughout 1943, his victories mounted. During the Battle of the Bismarck Sea and later over La, he shot down 4 enemy aircraft in a single mission, earning the Distinguished Service Cross. Quiet and humble on the ground, he was fierce in the air. He wasn't a swaggering hero, just Dick Bong, the calm farm boy who happened to be the best fighter pilot anyone had ever seen. Love and legend. In late 1943, Bong returned to the United States on leave. At a homecoming event at his former college, he met Marge Vitendel. Their romance quickly captured the nation's attention. When Bong returned to the Pacific in 1944, he carried Marge's photograph into every mission. He even had her picture painted on the nose of his P-38 and named the aircraft Marge. On April 12, 1944, Bong surpassed Eddie Rickenbacker's World War I record, becoming America's top ace. He was promoted to major on the spot. Though officially reassigned as an instructor, he continued flying combat missions to protect younger pilots. Between October and November 1944, Bong shot down 8 more enemy aircraft. For his extraordinary bravery, General Douglas MacArthur awarded him the Medal of Honor. On December 17, 1944, Bong scored his 40th and final victory. General Kenney ordered him home, fearing the loss of such a powerful symbol would devastate morale. A hero's return, and a new frontier. Bong returned home as a national icon. On February 10, 1945, he married Marge in Poplar, Wisconsin, before a crowd of over 1,000 guests. The newlyweds moved to California, where Bong was assigned a new mission, test pilot duty at Lockheed. He was tasked with flying America's first operational jet fighter, the P-80 Shooting Star. Jet aviation was new and dangerous. Several test pilots had already died flying the P-80. Still, Bong was seen as the ideal pilot to help tame the future. A tragic ending. August 6, 1945. Major Richard Bong took off from Burbank on a routine acceptance flight. It was only his 12th jet flight, with just over 4 hours of total jet time. Shortly after takeoff, the primary fuel pump failed. Although the aircraft had a backup pump, it was never engaged. The jet lost power and began to fall. Bong steered the aircraft away from populated areas and attempted to bail out, but he was too low. His parachute never had time to open. Richard Bong was killed instantly. He was 24 years old. In a tragic twist of history, his death occurred on the same day the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. His passing was overshadowed by the dawn of the nuclear age. A legacy that endures. Richard Bong was buried with full military honors in Poplar, Wisconsin. Thousands came to pay their respects. His widow, Marge, was just 21 years old. She later dedicated her life to preserving his legacy. Bong's record of 40 confirmed victories has never been surpassed by any American pilot. Memorials across the country bear his name, including the Richard I. Bong Veterans Historical Center, which features a restored P-38 painted like his beloved Marge. His story is more than a count of victories. It is the story of a humble farm boy who became a symbol of hope for a nation at war. A hero of an era of heroes, whose legacy will never be forgotten.